Your new Wednesday addiction. Humpin' it with Mello, D83, and the Maestro.
Hello and welcome everyone. The week is almost over. You're halfway there. It's Wednesday, hump day. And you're now humping it with Mello, D83, and the Maestro. Get your mind out the gutter.
Yes, indeed, y'all. Another Wednesday, another hour that you're here with us, and we appreciate it. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for subscribing, and thank y'all for hanging with us, man. Listen, we got some good stuff in store for y'all tonight, you know. So sit back and enjoy, right? So, hey, Mello, what's going on with you? How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Okay. Everything good with you?
Everything's good.
Oh,
You know, life, school, the usual.
You did not sound enthused at all, but all right then. Well, that's okay.
Well, you know, midterms, so
Right, I got you.
I'm a little tired, a little exhausted, but I'll be all right.
I got you. D83, talk to me. What's good with you, man?
And trust me, Mello, I feel your pain, that whole adulting thing, you know? Life will beat you down, pick you up, beat you down again.
Hey,
Exactly.
listen,
Adulting.
they should have had some disclaimer on this whole adulting thing. They set us up for the okie doke. I'm just going to say that.
Definitely, man. My parents were right. I'll leave it at that.
I got you. Well, yeah, that's what's good. Well, look, let's go ahead and get right into it, all right?
Here comes the starting 5'5" water boy. D83 with the 3 and out segment.
Yes, indeed. D83, what you got for us, man?
Well, first, I'm going to start with some NBA news. March 21st, so last week, Bradley Beal, after the Orlando Magic game, got into a altercation with a fan. The fan was heckling him as he was leaving the arena and said, "Hey, you made me lose $1,300," and was giving him a whole rash of crap. Bradley Beal then responded with knocking his hat off his head. Now, this particular person is suing him. That's the world we live in. You hit my hat. Oh, you bruised my forehead as the hat left my head.
So, oh, man. I don't know how I feel about that. So, on the one hand, as a professional sports player, right? Or just a professional anybody, right? You know you're going to get that, right? It's no question. So, do you fault Bill? Do you fault him for losing his cool and doing that? Or, I mean, obviously, people are buttholes. It's not, I had to catch myself. Excuse me. But you know what I'm saying? You played in the sport. You know what the sport is about. You know, fans are some of the most competitive people ever, right? So,
Fan stands for fanatic. So
exactly. So do you know, I don't know. It's fault. I think it's probably fault on both sides.
that's a very good question. So I would respond with this. Yes, as a professional, whether it's athlete or business person, whatever, you need to know how to handle yourself and understand that that person probably had a few drinks. I get that. However, I am on Bradley Beal's defense due to this. I've always said for many years, I think reporters should not be allowed to go into the locker rooms or even ask questions to players after games. Reason being is if you lost, right? You're not going to be in the best mood, right? I don't feel like talking to anybody. I don't want to talk to anybody. I've had days, just in the business world alone that I haven't always handled myself the best if I've had a bad day, and then a client will call. And I'm a little short, and It just is what it is. No fault of theirs. It's just I've had other things going on.
Sure.
So anyway, that's how I look at that.
I
You
can
just
dig it.
lost a game. You're not in the perfect mind frame, and then you have someone who doesn't even play come give you crap because they bet on the game. It's-
I think I would have responded. Sucks to be you. I would have just left it at that. Look, oh, you lost 30. Hey, sucks to be you, bruh. I'm out. You know what I'm saying? I'll still get my check. You feel me? So you know what I'm saying? Water off a duck's back, man. But that's just me, you know. And I say that sitting here. If I was put in that situation, you know, it's totally possible I could have reacted the same way. So
Possibly, but knowing you, I think you would have
I would have said that.
handled yourself really well.
I would have just
No, I
looked
would
at
like to think you would handle yourself well.
I definitely would have said that though. Oh, there's no question. Ain't no question. Yeah. No, you would have got he would have got that. Listen, ain't my fault you bet. Hey, ain't nobody tell you to bet. Betting's legal anyways. Get out my face. I'm just playing.
Oh man. So also in the NBA, you also got the return of Kevin Durant. You have the Phoenix Suns playing against the Minnesota Timberwolves at 10 o'clock. Should be good. KD, I've always said, if it wasn't for LeBron James, Kevin Durant would have easily ruled this era. His shot is so crisp, it's natural, it never touches the rim. He's 6'11", he can shoot the three. He's got really good handles. If he could stay healthy, it would be something. Because again, he just comes back today after missing 3 games due to slipping and injuring himself during warmups. That's how fragile he has been, unfortunately.
Right.
Very
Dang.
good athlete. Very good athlete.
Yeah, no question. No
Could have
question.
easily have been top 10 if he could have stayed healthy and throughout his career. I mean, he's in his 15th season. You know, again, 6'11", can
Yeah.
handle the ball.
Yeah.
One of the nastiest shots I've ever seen. So, it is what it is. Unfortunately, that's the hand he has been dealt.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. He's still out there. He's still got a huge fan base. He's still out there making a name for himself. You know what I'm saying? He's still, you know, I don't follow NBA that much, so I don't know, you know, could he be inducted in the Hall of Fame? I mean, everybody know who Kevin Durant is.
Yeah,
Everybody.
he'll still get in the Hall of Fame. Dude, you know, he won two championships. He was also the MVP of those 2 championships. So yeah, he'll definitely still go in.
So
easily.
his legacy is solidified in my book. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's
Yes.
good, man.
I agree. I totally agree. Other than there are some that will say, you know, he was on a super team with, you know, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green
But
and Golden State.
I would
But,
say
I
look
mean,
at the stats.
True, you could look at
You
the
know what I'm
stats, but you could easily say the same for LeBron James.
Exactly.
There you
Exactly.
go.
The whole point of it is to have a team. It's not to be one person, right? So I think people use that as an excuse sometimes.
Yeah, because they just don't like the player.
Correct.
'Cause you could
Correct.
easily say the same for Michael Jordan.
Yeah. And the Bulls, come on now.
Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan had the best number 2 ever in Scottie Pippen.
Yes.
Steve Kerr was one of the greatest 3-point shooters ever. And before that, they had Steve Paxson, who was a very good 3-point shooter. They had Horace Grant, who was a very good defender. And then obviously you had Dennis Rodman, who was at the time was the greatest rebounder ever. And then also people forget Tony Kukoc. Tony Kukoc
Right.
was the number 1 European player.
Right.
I believe he played. Yeah, either way, he played overseas, and again, he was the number 1 outside of USA.
Right.
So I mean, you think about him being on the team. That in
True
itself
indeed.
was crazy. And then you had Phil Jackson, head coach, one of the
Come on
greatest
now.
of all time.
Come on now.
So-
Yes, sir.
It is what I'm still. So
Yeah.
MJ is always going to be my favorite of all time. But
Sure.
I'm just saying, he still had a very good team because before he had that team, he was losing constantly to the Detroit Pistons. So
Right.
it is what it is.
Hey, everybody got opinions. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's entitled to that. So, It is what it is.
unfortunately. Yes, yes. So, also tonight you got the Lakers playing. That should be good because they have to win in order to get into the playoffs or even make it into the play-in tournament to get into the playoffs. So that'll be awesome to watch. Uh, LeBron's still coming back from his injury, so he's still not 100%. So it should be good. And then, um, Anthony Davis, you never know. He, he could get injured injured in an interview. I bet
Hey,
I
that's
bit the
facts,
side of
though.
my mouth wrong. Bit the side of my
That's facts,
mouth
man.
wrong.
I
I'm
was gonna
out.
say, sitting on the sideline, he can get injured, but you right though. You
Oh
right. That's
my
facts, man.
goodness, that's that.
Hey,
I'm sorry, 80.
I don't know if he actually watches us, but yo,
Still,
hey,
still. I just want to
if
say
he,
it.
if he does, I apologize too, and I ain't even say it. Tell your friends about us, please.
Oh God, that was perfect. That was perfect. This weekend, however, I am extremely excited and can't wait to continue to watch the basketball tournament. It's March Madness. Of course,
Right.
we're coming up on the end of March, but the tournament has been outstanding. I've enjoyed a lot of the games. A lot of the number one teams have not made it through.
Yeah, I've heard about that. It's been some
It's
big
it's
upsets.
been
Big
it's been
upsets.
crazy. I've enjoyed watching them. Watched quite a few of them with my son. That was fun as well. Of course, that's
Okay,
always good.
definitely.
But Saturday night, 6 o'clock, you got Florida Atlantic playing. They're playing San Diego State. So Florida Atlantic's ranked number 9. San Diego State's ranked number 6. Florida Atlantic is the lowest seed still remaining. Should be good. I'm gonna be
Interesting.
honest, I'm not a fan of them. I still think Creighton should still be in there just because man, they were so tall. Their center was 7'11". I'm sorry, 7'11". Wow, 7'1". That
I
would
was
have been
about to
ridiculous.
say, yo, what?
Well, because I had their forward, their center was 7'1", and then
Gotcha.
their power forward was 6'11". So they were ridiculously tall
Yeah.
for a college team. A lot of college teams aren't that big.
Right.
Of course, then again, a lot of NBA teams aren't that big either. It's not the era where Tim Duncan and stuff would
Right.
dominate the league. Or
Right.
Shaq.
True
It's a lot of
indeed.
small ball being played. Then also you got ranked number 5 Miami playing number 4 UConn at 8:50. Who comes up with these times? 8:50. I saw that and I said 8:50.
Hey, man. They try to catch that before you go to bed, so you tuned in. So you got to
They're
watch
like,
it.
yeah, let's mess with them.
Exactly.
They're throwing. Look, they're picking the times by throwing darts at a dartboard. 8:50 it is.
Hey, that fits, though.
UConn is the team that I'm rooting for only because they're really not known for their basketball team as much as the women's basketball team is. Women's UConn women's basketball team has dominated for so many years, it's ridiculous. So I'm kind of rooting for them to see what they can do.
There you go.
Go for there. Go from there. Now the women's tournament starts Friday night. That I'm actually looking forward to that more than anything. The women's tournament has been super crazy as well. 9 o'clock, you got number 2 Iowa versus number 1 South Carolina.
Oh,
Cannot
wow.
Wait. South Carolina won last year's tournament. They knocked out UConn.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you,
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
tell
This
you,
is personal. Oh, this is personal.
Iowa,
That'll
That's
be
going to be a
Iowa,
fire game. Yes.
Iowa, uh, their shooting guard, Caitlin Clark, she's nasty. She is super nasty. I'm sorry, she's a point guard. Either way, she is nasty. The last game, she recorded the first ever triple double in the women's tournament.
Wow. Hey, that's
Impressive.
huge, bro.
They beat number 5 Louisville 97-83.
Wow.
I
Wow.
watched that game. It was awesome. She scored 42 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. It was nasty. And that, as far as the season's concerned, that was her 11th triple double, and the closest player next to her had 3 triple doubles.
Oh, she a monster.
Wow.
She is
She's a
nasty. I
monster.
had to see what the I've been watching Iowa a lot because of her, and I wanted to see what the hype was about. That girl is
That's
something else.
crazy.
She's awesome.
Oh,
Yes.
that's gonna be a
Yep.
dope game then.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome. Now the second game, Friday, at 7. I'm sorry, that this will be the first game. So at 7, you got Virginia Tech, number 1, playing against number 3 ranked LSU. Now, I know we live in Virginia, and I probably should be rooting for Virginia Tech. However, I am
You're
rooting
free to like
for
who you like.
LSU, due to Angel Reese, the forward for LSU. She is superb. She's nasty. 6'3", got
Mhm.
handles. Yeah, she's awesome to watch. So I
Yeah,
can't wait for that.
dope.
Definitely.
Uh-huh.
And then
Great.
last item, NFL news, which has been going around and around and around, is the quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson.
Mm,
He asked for a trade.
yeah,
So we
knew
should
that
see
was
where that
coming.
goes.
Hey, listen, we got a spot at Tennessee. Come on here. We need you, bro. Come on down. We need it. I'm sorry. Tannehill out, it is what it is. Listen, appreciate you. Great run. You did a lot. Solid numbers for us. I appreciate you. But look, we need a Super Bowl. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Love Tannehill though. He good peoples.
Yeah, to, but my response to that would be it's hard to build a Super Bowl contending team when you're paying your quarterback a lot of money.
I agree with that because you have to fill in with a lot of young talent, right? A lot of rookies are going to be filling them spots, man, and the pressure's going to be on them. They got to perform, but they also don't have the experience, right? College and NFL are two totally different things. So I get it, I get it, but I still take him. Get it to
Oh
me.
no,
I want to see
I'm
how.
with I'm with you all day.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry? Oh my, on the offense. Oh my gosh, you don't know which way
I
the
thought
ball going.
I thought as of now it was uncertain whether or not Henry would be returning. You
No.
know,
So the latest news on that was what is it? Canton? I always mess his name up. Ron, yeah, our new GM. No, he said he denied that he was shopping Derrick Henry.
oh,
So yeah,
good.
so which it wouldn't make sense to me at all. But who am I? I'm just a
No,
fan.
because I mean he has showed no signs of slowing down.
Correct. Correct.
Last year was a
Well,
good
that's
year.
that's arguable. If you look at the stats and stuff like that, a lot of people are saying he's, you know, but they were wrong last time when they said that. So I think that he's got plenty more left in the tank. I think we have to get number one a line because Derrick Henry needs a line to get that breakaway, and number
Yeah.
two, we need a quarterback. We need to balance it out. So because you can't give him the ball every down anymore. It's not going to work. At least in my opinion, I don't
But
think so.
but the man, and I mean that's a man.
He's a grown man.
Hey, I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now. When I watch him, if if I was a safety, right now I'm the last line of defense, and he's come through, he's running through wide open in the field, and it's just him and I. I'm telling you now, just lay down.
Hey,
Oh,
look,
coach.
the
I'm like,
best
coach,
chance
my
you
hand.
got,
I'm telling you, injured.
the best chance you got is go for the legs. That's it. You got to shoestring him. Otherwise, if you catch that stiff arm, it's over. He's going to embarrass you. There's no question about that. You're getting embarrassed if he gets you with that stiff arm. So,
Oh,
you know, but I don't know. I would like to see it, but we'll see how it goes. So,
time will tell.
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And that's
Mello,
it. All I got.
my man, DSB, thank you, sir. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Now it's time for a classically awesome journey to Squareville with Mello.
Mello, what you got for us? I'm sorry. That intro gets me every time. I love it.
I like
I
it.
love it. It's perfect for you.
I like it.
What you got for us?
So, as we are wrapping up March, it's hard to believe we're in the third month of 2023, about to go into the fourth month. I'm still in disbelief. It's gone by so fast.
Listen, ain't nobody tell us as you get older, time speeds up, bro. That's crazy.
It's going at warp speed right
Yes.
now.
That's facts. God, dog. That's facts. And that was a perfect comment from you too. That was straight from Squareville.
You know what? I'm not even.
I'm sorry.
So I was looking back and I was like, what are some interesting facts that happened in the past on this day in March 29th? And a few stood out to me. And they're just kind of random, but I think that they were kind of pivotal. The first one being in 1943, that was during World War II. USA started war rationing.
Oh, I remember that. I remember hearing about that. Look, let me clear that up. I ain't that old. I remember hearing about
No,
that.
you never read.
No.
You were there.
I disagree.
Oh, the disrespect. The level of disrespect.
You set it up. I just had to finish it. Sorry, Mello.
Touche.
So the rationing of meat, cheese, butter, cooking oils, everything. Like there used to be line just waiting to get war rations for these things. If you think about it, in the time that we live in now, like it's unimaginable. Because at any time during the night, whether you don't feel like going up and getting it or not, you can run to the store, you can call, what is it? Uber.
Oh, yeah, Uber Eats.
Like those places.
Yeah.
They
DoorDash,
deliver
whatever.
stuff.
Yeah.
They deliver just like regular grocery
facts.
items now.
Yeah.
You know, 24-hour, grocery stores.
Right.
But it kind of humbles you when you think
facts.
about, what was going on during that time. And hopefully we don't encounter another period like that, but with everything going on in the world,
Look,
posturing and aggressions going on, it makes you wonder.
but I will say I think the closest thing we came obviously was COVID, right? And
Sure.
the supply chain shortages that were faced, that we all faced.
Sure.
And you had to ration some stuff then because it just wasn't available, right? Now, obviously not to that level. That's a whole nother level we're talking. But I mean, for modern day, that's as close as we've come.
No, we had to ration toilet paper.
Yeah,
You cannot
that's
find
big
it.
facts. Listen, you better go outside and get some leaves or something. Stop playing. Hey, man.
I've never had a hard time finding
Toilet
anything
paper.
that's
Of
simple.
all things, listen, that's crazy to me. I get it, but I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't want to go into details on that because
Yeah, let's try and leave that in the
I
past.
just like there are other alternatives than toilet paper. I'm just saying. Man. That's just me.
Right. So another big event that happened, 1971, USA versus Charles Manson.
Oh,
And 3 of his followers received the death penalty for the 1969 murders of actress Sharon Tate and 6 others. The California Supreme Court abolished the death penalty before they could be executed in 1972. And the 4 were given life sentences. They are still incarcerated despite numerous applications for parole.
they ain't getting that. They ain't
Yeah,
getting that. That's done. They just gonna stay.
but when you think about during that time period, like that type of evil, it was seemingly unheard of during that time.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I like.
I mean,
you had it, but yeah, it wasn't. Yeah,
Well,
mhm.
you've had your historic serial killers.
you also had, I was gonna say, yeah, historic serial killers like Son of Sam,
Right.
right? Can't think of the other one, but yeah,
Yeah,
Charles
but
Manson.
but it was almost like these when you hear about it, it was like, oh my gosh, you know what I'm saying? It's like, but now you turn on the news and you got one every day just about, it sounds like. So
every day.
yeah, I feel where you're coming from. So
Yeah. So,
Well,
yeah.
with that being, with you bringing up, the sentencing, right?
Mhm.
I've always felt like death penalty, though, is like some of them may just want to get away anyways, right? Not sit there and rot. To me, that's a tougher punishment, having to sit there every single day in what really is just a bathroom. You're now living in a bathroom the rest of your life. I think
True.
that's a hard. So,
For some people,
think-
it may be, but then for others,
others is yeah. You hear like hi- um, habitual offenders, or that's not what I was trying to say, but your escapes me, but people that are always there, right? Who your repeat
repeat
offenders,
offender.
you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Who why did they come back? 3 hots in a cot. I ain't got
exactly.
to worry about nothing. As long as somebody put money on my books, you know what I'm saying? I can deal with the stuff up in here. So
That's true.
some people are like that. It's easier to deal with than the actual world outside. So
That's true.
I don't want to find out. I'll stay out here.
Yeah,
I know it's
yeah.
crazy out here, but I'll stay out here. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I ain't built for it. So
I can,
I
I'm
agree.
right there with you.
you know,
I can listen. I can listen to my music. I can do whatever.
exactly,
Anytime.
exactly. If I
Watch my
want
Netflix. Do whatever.
exactly, if I want to go to Walmart 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm going. You know what I'm saying? Just to walk around. I don't do that, but I'm just saying. If I wanted to, I could. Hey, listen, mind your business. Mind your business. Ain't nobody ask
Oh
me.
gosh. So my last interesting fact for March 29th happened in 1973. U.S. troops leave Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a very hard time, not just for the country being in war, but for the troops
Mm-hmm.
coming home because they were not regarded as heroes.
Mm-hmm.
They were not looked at favorably over something they had no control over.
Yeah. But you had a lot of changes stateside during that time too. You know,
True.
so there was I don't want to say a culture change, but it was almost a culture change. You feel me? So like, yeah, war during that time was just frowned upon in general.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
because that was definitely your hippie age. You know what I'm saying? Peace, not war. Things like
Right.
that. But obviously the pretext of the Vietnam War was sketchy anyway. So a
Yeah.
lot of people didn't agree with it. So it was
Um,
just
Yeah. And like you brought up, they weren't, when they came home, they weren't regarded as heroes.
hmm
And not only that, think about years after that, what they had to endure with finding out the damages of Agent Orange.
Yep, exactly.
exactly.
And that's what I was going to say too. Yeah, but they didn't have the support from their country and their fellow countrymen. But they still had to deal with the effects of war. That didn't change. So yeah, that was a tough period. You're right, man. That was a
Yeah.
struggle, I'm sure, for many of them.
And even years later, because it took a long time even for them to get benefits from the VA from what they had been through.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, that in itself,
Yeah, so they
they were,
struggled. They didn't get the love when they came back. They went here because they joined. They had to follow orders. They had to go over there, fight somebody else's war, right? They came back. Nobody regarded them. They weren't celebrated as heroes, nothing like that. And yet, I'm still struggling with these health effects. You know what I'm saying? These adverse health effects, and I can't get coverage for them. Like I just fought your war. You ain't taking care of me. Yo, that's crazy.
not to mention the mental effects.
Exactly. Right.
You know, I think that was a big part, outside of, any kind of chemical, toxins that they were exposed to.
Sure.
War
Absolutely.
itself,
Well, yeah,
you know.
absolutely. But I think a movie that shed some good light on that was Forrest Gump and Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah,
That character was, what I'm saying, that kind of now. I mean, it doesn't give you the full picture, obviously, right?
right.
But the struggles that Lieutenant Dan went through, and how they showed it, I thought were dope. You know what I'm saying? That was a reflection of what a lot of, I dare say most of them went through. So,
Agreed.
Absolutely.
And I may not be a smart man, but I do know what love is.
Sir, you need to do voiceovers. I'm done. Like you and these voices, bro, that was like on point. I could have
Lieutenant Dan, ice cream, Lieutenant Dan.
Hey,
You
listen,
ain't got no legs.
I don't care what nobody. Forrest Gump was one of the best movies I've seen.
It was.
Tom Hanks
I told-
destroyed that character, man. Nobody else could have done that better than him. Absolutely
Nah.
nobody. That was an amazing movie to me.
One of
It
my
was.
favorites.
Absolutely.
One of my favorites. I keep telling my son that him and I need to watch it together, and he's like, he saw how long it was, and he's like,
Listen,
like,
it's worth it.
dude, you
I
have no
think he'll
idea
like
what you're
it.
missing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He'll like it. You just got to turn it on one day for him, and then don't tell him. So,
I've worn
Exactly.
Lots of shoes.
yes, indeed.
I've worn lots of shoes.
Hey, I'm telling you, Forrest Gump was it, though.
Love that movie. Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, look, let's get in it. Here we go.
あなたが一緒にいないと心が折れる
I love that intro. I do. But let's talk about it. I got a good one for y'all. Excuse me. So the anime I'm going to review today is called "The Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime." That time I got reincarnated as a slime. Let me get it right. So this anime is isekai. So I know a lot of people probably don't know what that is. So let me give it to you here. This is from the New York Public Library. Their definition of an isekai is a subgenre of fantasy in which a character is suddenly transported from their world into a new or unfamiliar one. Right? So if you're into anime now, right, isekai is huge. It almost seems like every other anime is an isekai. Somebody is getting transported to another world, and it gets a little overwhelming sometimes because the same premise over and over, and it gets annoying. But this one, I will say, this is probably one of the best ones that I've seen. So it starts with our character Mikami, right? Everyday corporate America worker in Japan, and he is a victim of a unfortunate assault, and he ends up getting 86th, and he is transported to or reincarnated into another world as a slime monster. So he's basically a giant ball of slime with 2 eyeballs or 2 black dots as eyeballs. So off top, like when I started watching, I was like, yo, what is this? This can't be good. What am I watching? I was pleasantly surprised to be wrong. I think yes, it was a great anime, and it's still going on. Still got season coming out, so it's not over. So as he gets reincarnated as a slime, he gets these OP skills, right? Abilities. So it's almost like you're playing a video game, an RPG, right? And one of his abilities is to absorb anything and mimic that skill that he absorbs, right? So yeah, off top he's OP. Off top. So basically, the story is of his adventures in this new world and how he becomes almost like a savior in a sense, right? He uses his earthly knowledge because he's reincarnated, with all of his memories and things like that. And he builds his, I guess his quest to build this utopia. So definitely a fire anime. Check it out. I would recommend it be probably teenagers and up. So there are some, not necessarily, there's no nudity or anything like that, but there's some suggestive themes there. If there's a lot of, if you know anything about anime and anime women, they have giant boobs. That's just what it is. So, plenty of giant boobs in there. So, there is some hints of fan service there. There is some fan service in there. So, I say hints, but there's some obvious fan service. So, just use some discretion, If you don't want your young kid running around looking at giant anime boobies, don't let him watch it or her.
So no watching. Well, I guess don't let them watch Roger Rabbit either.
Yeah, I would recommend not to. Unless you want to cover up your TV when she comes out. I don't know. But again, that time I got reincarnated as a slime. I think it's 2 seasons right now. The third one should be coming out pretty soon. Of course, I watch all dub. I know I'm gonna get some hate on that one, but I'm sorry. I can't watch. I can't read subtitles and watch. I'm not that skilled. So, the last thing I want to touch on too, it deals with the tech world, and I guess it deals with gaming tech. It's kind of all intertwined. The death of the metaverse. So I don't know if y'all remember 2 years, 2021, 2022, everything was the metaverse. If you recall, Facebook changed its name to Meta because Mark Zuckerberg wanted to be the pioneer of the metaverse, right? So the metaverse is basically a virtual world, right? If you've ever seen Ready Player One, I think I may have talked about this before briefly, but if you ever seen Ready Player One, dope movie, go see it. It's worth it. But this is basically what the metaverse is. If you watch that movie, that's what they're envisioning, right? Interconnected virtual world where you interact with avatars of per people. You can create whoever you want to create. You can do basically what you want to do, right? It's a virtual world. So, but 2021, 2022 was hot. Everybody was trying to get on board. All the big tech companies. Meta was again trying to pioneer. They were dumping billions into this. Billions of dollars. And unfortunately, it's never come to fruition like they envisioned. So your big tech companies are now slashing resources and budgets around the metaverse. So basically, it's pretty much dead. That big dream of the metaverse, that interconnected virtual world, is pretty much over. At least for now, right? I suspect that it will come about because you have VR and AI, VR and AR technology, which is augmented reality. So I still think it'll come. It's just now is not the time. That's just my personal opinion. But I'm not in control of the budgets or the resources, so I don't know. So the big focus now, as you've heard, is AI. AI is everywhere. That's all you hear about on the news. Chat GPT, Google Bard AI. That's all you hear, right? So now the big tech companies, Silicon Valley is focusing on AI and what that can bring. And a lot of people are saying, hey, you build a great AI, the AI will build the metaverse for you. Better than other developers. So, that's why I said I don't think it's dead. It's dead for now. So
Gotcha.
yes indeed. Well, that's it for me. So we're gonna switch the game up a little bit, right? We got a new topic. We're gonna talk about and we're gonna talk about kind of heavy. What scares you? What are your fears? All right. So what is your biggest fear? And what scares you? Open the door, leave the floor open.
I would start off. For me, it would definitely be hands down. My biggest fear. I don't fear death because I'm not afraid of. I'm not afraid of living. So why would I be scared to die?
Mm.
But for me, biggest fear would be losing one of my kids.
That
is my.
I would second that. That is my biggest fear, losing one of my children.
I could care less whatever happens to me in this world. I could end up tomorrow finding out I got cancer in a few days to live. It is what it is. But to lose a kid, that's not a world I want to live in.
Yeah.
I was 18, 19, maybe younger. I was dating a young lady, and she had a child. He was 3 years old when he passed. We dated for a short period. She was constantly in and out of MCV because he was always in the hospital. He had what's called short gut, which is no lower intestines. And I'll never forget this as long as I live. the doctor, he had a surgery, which he was constantly always having surgeries. Well, the doctor came in and said, look, the surgery was a success. However, he lost a vein. And I never saw someone break down the way that she broke down.
Mm.
And again, I'm young. I don't know what's going on. I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand the situation. The doctor leaves. She's talking to me. She breaks down in my arms. And I said, well, what does that mean? She goes, you don't understand. With his situation, the only way that he can live or be fed is through his veins.
Mm-hmm.
And with him losing a vein, you can't reuse it.
Mm-hmm.
And he is running out of veins. He doesn't have much time left.
Mhm.
And obviously, it didn't sit right with me, and it hurt me, and I felt sorry for her. But now I fully understand now that I'm a parent
Mm-hmm.
and I have two kids, and the the thought of that, it's not a world that I want to live
Agreed.
in. And
Absolutely.
to see her every day just dealing with that, and one of the strongest women I've ever met. And I just, again,
Mm.
um,
Yeah, man.
it was sad. It was sad.
Yeah, yeah. Like that's definitely, like I said, on the top of my list, man. Especially with again the times that we live in, and unfortunately, we just had another school shooting at an elementary school, or I think it had young kids in it. I don't know if it was elementary school.
Mhm.
Like, you have to fear for your kid's life in a safe, what's supposed to be a safe place, a place of learning, and growth. Um, and it's really scary, right? To have to think about, you know, the fact that, hey, am I going to get to see my kids? You know what I'm saying? Today. It is. And I don't want to sound, morbid, but I think it's a reality. We live in that at this point in time, you know?
Yeah.
And it is, man. Like, you can't really truly understand how you react, in that situation. And, I hope, nobody ever does, but obviously, can't ever, no, everybody can't escape that. I used to work with this one lady who, her kids were, adult, young adults, but, she lost her daughter, through some kind of, I don't know if it was sketchy type stuff. I'm not too sure exactly, but she lost her daughter, and her daughter had children, so she took over the kids, but she was destroyed over that, right? Well, her son, the girl's brother, obviously, was trying to find out exactly what happened to her, and he was killed for trying to find out what happened. So here she is now. Both her children are gone, and to see how that affects somebody is catastrophic, right? Like, that to actually go through it is catastrophic, right? You can't fathom it, but to see somebody suffer and struggle and try and deal with that is heartbreaking. And I pray I never have to go through that, right? Because it's earth shattering, it's mind blowing. You can't, like I said, you can't really fathom. You can't anticipate how that's going to feel or anything, man. So I'm with you. I think that's definitely my biggest fear, right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And losing a child can also put a big strain on a marriage. I'll never forget Steve Walsh,
Mm,
America's Most Wanted.
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
why that's how he started. America's Most Wanted. And in an interview, he said that the loss of their son is what ruined the marriage. Unfortunately, just because they lost everything.
Mm-hmm.
That was their everything, their world, and they just could never get back to being one. It just
Yeah,
devastated them.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and then he also created the Amber Alert, Steve Walsh.
Oh, I
So
didn't
yeah.
know that. Did he?
Mm-hmm. To my
Wow.
knowledge, I could be wrong.
I
You might
thought that
need to
was
look it
named
up.
because I know they named it after a girl that was missing. I think, and
Right.
she was. I think she was
Correct.
found dead. But I didn't know he created that. That's dope.
To my knowledge, if I remember correctly,
Yeah.
might want to look that up. But to
Yeah,
my
we'll
knowledge,
fact
yes.
check it. It's all good.
Yeah. Wow. Um, I think I would have to agree with that sentiment as well. Um, as I've gotten older, I think my fears have changed a little bit. Uh, Personally, pre-children, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I would say my biggest fear was to not somehow be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that came from a place of, never really being seen, growing up outside of my family,
Mm-hmm.
but feeling like I never really belonged
Mm-hmm.
or fit in someplace. And it was like I didn't want to be just lost, forgotten about in a way. So
Hmm.
if I were successful, even if it didn't matter to anyone else, I know that I had personally achieved something.
Mm-hmm.
I've done something. I've made a mark. Um, Obviously, after children, that definitely changed.
Right. Right.
And being a mom of multiples, um, it was a very real threat before they even came into the world because it was a high risk pregnancy.
Mm.
I started going into preterm labor at 5 months, and they had to hospitalize me, um, put me on hospital bed rest. Basically, until they were born, I was in and out of the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
They had to keep trying to keep them from coming because I kept trying to dilate early.
That was foreshadowing, by the way. If y'all know them now. Oh, buddy. Sorry. I didn't mean to mess up the story. I just blew the mood. My bad, homie. I'm just saying, though. Hey, them two, wide open.
Oh yeah. But it was something that I was scared about then. And then even after they were born, they were in the NICU for, you know, about a week just because they were 5 weeks premature. Through all of that, trying to keep them in, they still came 5 weeks early.
Mm-hmm.
And they were trying to, boost their lungs, giving me shots and
Mm-hmm.
taking all the precautions. So if they did come, they would be best
And the best.
best able
Right.
to
Yeah.
try and make it
Yeah.
once they came. And they were having some breathing issues. They were on the
Mm-hmm.
respirators for a little bit, but fortunately they came through great. Fast forward 20 some years later, as I've mentioned before, they're both active duty, one in the Marine Corps,
Mm.
one in the US Navy. That's still, something I wrestle with every day.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what's going to go on in the world, especially my Marine. He's boots on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Absolutely. Infantry all day,
um,
baby.
my sailor, uh, he's master at arms. He's military police. So even if he's not in some
Mm-hmm.
sort of battle,
They got to do patrols.
they,
They got to do all that stuff. Yeah. So.
there's a lot of stuff like
Mm-hmm.
domestically,
Mm-hmm.
that he has to deal with
Yeah.
that, could, be real trouble. So
Yeah.
I think about it every day. It's something that I have to, just pray about every
Mm-hmm.
day, hoping they stay safe. Um, it's hard, but at the same time, once they get out, being young men of color, I sometimes wonder if the streets aren't more dangerous than where they are now.
Mm. That's a valid point. That's a valid
Um,
point.
so it's dangerous, I think for young men in general, but you know,
Yeah.
It's not something that you can, I think, ever sleep 100% soundly at night with that in the back of your mind. You know, always
Yeah.
hoping that they'll be okay, but what can you do as a
Yeah.
parent? You give them all of the knowledge, the wisdom you
Instill
can.
everything you can into them, and but at the
Yeah.
end of the day, they're their own person, right?
Yep.
And this is not just specifically to them, This is for my kids, the 83's kids, they're their own person. They have their own personalities. They learn the way they learn, they pick up what they pick up. So I think as a parent in general, that's absolutely valid. You can give them everything you can give them, and you basically turn them loose, and
Yeah.
they're gonna struggle, they're gonna fall down, but again, that's a big part of life, I think, right? That's how you
Yeah.
learn, unfortunately. Some lessons are only learned the hard way, right?
That's true.
So no, I agree with you, man. Like, it's always in the back of your head, doesn't matter how old your kids are. Listen, I ain't gonna tell my age on here. Yes, I am. I'm 26. Hey, hold on. What y'all looking at? What's wrong with that? What y'all looking at, man? But
I thought of something there.
that's
Then I
disrespectful.
remembered I live alone.
But and I'm thankful. I thank God that I still have my mom. Obviously
Yeah.
our pops is gone, but I still get treated like I'm 12. I'm just saying, I love you, mom. But it's the fact of you'll never stop being a parent. Doesn't matter how old your kids are. Doesn't
Sure.
matter until until you yourself leave this earth. You're always going to be a parent.
Yeah.
They're always going to have that love and always going to have that care and the concern. Right? That's just what it is. So, hey, man, definitely one of the hardest jobs out here.
Oh,
No question.
By far.
Being a parent and stuff.
yes. So a couple things, Mello, while through your discussion and mentioning your two wonderful sons, you were talking about the 20-something years, and stuff and so on and so forth. And I was thinking, do you feel as though those 20-something years have gone by so quick, or does it?
Absolutely. Let me tell you something. When they were born, it was just like,
Hmm.
oh, I can't wait till they can hold the bottle on their own.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait till they start walking. I can't wait till they start talking. And then it's like, oh, they're 5 now. Oh, they're 13 now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're 16, 18. And then,
That's facts,
you
man.
know, it just goes by so fast. Like, I wish there were things that I could remember. There are some memories that are like hard ingrained in my mind
Yeah.
that I just miss.
I
But
think we
then
were
there,
talking about that the other day.
but
Yeah.
then there's some stuff that like unless someone else says, "Hey, you remember when they did this or when they did that?" It's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh yeah."
Yep.
Yeah, man.
It's like some of it is like there for me to recall very easily, but then some of it, a lot of it,
Mm.
is just gone by so quickly.
I think you kind of touched on a point. I think that people do in general, right? Especially adults, right? Well, I say especially adults, but even kids, and they don't realize it, is rushing time, right?
Mm.
Because it's a struggle, right? So being a parent, and being a single parent at that, right? But being a parent, it's the sleepless nights, the crying at night. You got to get up, feed the baby every 2 hours, every 3 hours, change the diapers, you know what I'm saying? You got to do this, that, and the third. So, in a sense, you're like, oh my, you still got to work, you
Mhm.
still got responsibilities. So, I think inadvertently we kind of rush through that, right? Like you were saying, hey, oh, listen, I can't wait till they get to this point,
Mhm.
and we have a habit of doing that within our lives in general, right?
Yeah.
I can't wait till it's 5 o'clock. You at work. You just got there. You just clocked in. Man, I can't wait till it's 5 o'clock. Right?
Yes.
Or, I can't wait till next year and I get to do this. Right? And we inadvertently rush our lives away. you know? And that's why it's so important. That's why, obviously, there's plenty of sayings out there, stop and smell the roses,
Mhm.
whatever. But I think it is so important for us. And it's hard to hear and understand that when you're going through, especially if you're struggling with something, right? But
Yeah.
it's super important, man. We gotta take those moments, right?
Oh,
You gotta take those moments. Hey, just stop for a second and breathe. You're gonna get through it. It's gonna be okay. It's tough, but hey, enjoy this for a second. Cause listen, I'm 40. I lied. I'm 26. But
mm,
you know, my daughter, my one, two, she's third oldest. So I had to count for a second. But I barely remember the days, and obviously y'all know, the struggle. She has, for everybody that doesn't know, she has cerebral palsy, right?
Mhm.
So she was it's a crazy story. I have to bless y'all with that another day, but just know it's a crazy. I'll share it. But the struggles with her learning, because she has some global delays, right? And her learning, just the basics of sitting up, right?
Mhm.
Of crawling, right? Took far longer than any, than would be considered normal. I hate saying that,
Right.
but and getting her through that, and like I barely remember those days, man. And I don't know necessarily that. I guess part of me was wishing that the time would come when she would, because I wanted to see her progress.
Right.
But at the same time, now I look back, man, and I happened to find a video the other day of her when she was trying to stand up and walk. Right,
Oh,
she might have been almost 2, right, and she was just barely. She had to kind of rock herself and try and get up, and and I was just like, yo, I don't even remember these days, man. You know what I'm
right.
saying? But it was so precious to me, and I'm glad I got that video, because yo, hey, take pictures, take videos, because it's
All of that.
inevitable. You're gonna forget those times. Unfortunately, and you gotta save those things, man. You got to.
Yes.
yes, I'm remembered of Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs before he passed away,
Mm,
um, and he wrote something, and it was lengthy, but one of the comments in there was he said, one thing that I've learned now, again, you got to remember he's a very wealthy person,
mm-hmm.
and he said, I wish I would have known that the $500,000 watch tells the same time as a $50 watch, and unfortunately, my time is running out,
Mm,
and I wish I would have spent more time with those who love me.
yeah. Hey, that's
You know,
dope, man. That's deep, man. That's
Absolutely.
deep,
you got to
and that's
enjoy
real.
time. And something my mother said, speaking of kids, and she used to always tell me all the time when I was young, you'll never know true love until you had a child of your own.
Mm-hmm.
And those words
Yes.
really, really sat with me that night when my wife and I had our first son.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a whole different feeling, man. It's crazy.
Hold,
Whole
holding him in
different
my
feeling,
arms.
man. Yeah, man. Absolutely, man. And listen, it's not only just the love. You get a whole lot more with that. I'm just gonna tell y'all right now. Listen, if y'all think about, listen, my young teenagers, and don't do it. Just wait. Wait till you ready. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
because you get a whole lot more with that. Yeah, they cute and all of that, but you know what I'm saying? It's work. It's real work to raise little
Yeah.
human beings. Oh my stars.
It doesn't stop.
Look,
Nope. Even as adults, because you still got to coach them. Until they gain the wisdom that you have, you still got to coach them. That's what it is, man. And then they get hard headed too, because I know I'm hard headed. I know I am. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I don't like to listen sometimes. Hey, listen. Hey, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Anybody ask you, Mello? Hey.
oh Lord,
But nah, that's real talk though, man.
yes,
It's a blessing, but it's not an easy blessing, right? It's struggles that come with it. So, but I love it. Wouldn't trade it for the world.
exactly. I
Absolutely.
was just getting ready to say, wouldn't trade it for the world.
Hmm.
Well, that's gonna do it for us today. Thanks for joining. Make sure you follow the Humpin' It podcast on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, also Spotify. And yes, I almost forgot. The next time you're humping it, think of us. Get your mind out the gutter. We love you guys. Two fingers.
Peace.